Hey everyone, Heisenberg here, and today I'm going to be showing you 10 forgotten sleepers within Greenville. Basically, a sleeper is cars that look slow but are actually really fast, usually in 0 to 60 acceleration. But let's get right into the video. So first car right over here, we have the 2000 Wolfsburg Pitch. Pull up the dealership stats right now. There it is. Very unimpressive. You even got front wheel drive in this thing. And of course, if we look at the model, it's quite old. You can count the polys on this thing. Some of the bubble lights on show. But secretly, this thing is mad. Sleeper from the legacy era of Greenville, or like some of the older eras of Greenville, because this was added long time ago. We take it for acceleration and boom, already at 60 miles an hour. We're gone. We're off. Incredible. Now let's get into maybe, startup. Of course, old, very old Klassische. Take it for some braking. I take back what I said about speed. This car has incredible brakes. 60 to 0 in this distance is astonishing. So while we're leaving the Volkswagen there, we've actually got a 2-in-1. If you pull up the dealership, this is the 2003 Wolfsburg Charge. There's the VR6 trim and the turbo trim, both of which are actually pretty fast. Though if we enter the turbo trim first off, again, same startup and almost virtually similar engines to the pitch we saw earlier. Rev it up, but this thing actually peels. Let's take it out into the road for just generally a smoother ride. I'm pretty sure that was 3 seconds for the turbo. That is fast. And of course, unfortunately, it tops out at a lower speed of 120 miles per hour. Again, this is a slightly older one. I've seen this featured in older Greenville Sleepers videos, but... Okay, that was the turbo trim, but let's look at the VR6 that I also mentioned earlier, this time with a colorful badge. It's got slightly different stats on this one. Now, this is a slightly lower 0 to 60, but it definitely peels a lot more past 120. We're past 100 now. Let's keep speeding up. There it is. It's gonna hit 137. Wow. But yeah. It peels fast, same thing, bubble lights, let's not crash into a pole, oh no. Next car on our list is the 2015 Falcon Aquarius SHO. Now, let's rev it up. Why the SHO? This one's actually, I'm pretty sure, the equivalent to a sports trim. Of course, this one's got slightly newer, vaguely, I guess updated taillights you could say, but let's take it for a spin. And while it's going off the line, I'm going to tell you some stats about this car. This is only 26.5k, and we just hit 60 miles an hour. I didn't even catch that. Now we're at 100. It's just very Civ. This is probably the most Civ car, besides the spoiler maybe. It's got a similar quality to the Fulks. Everything's 2D on this thing. Definitely more questionable model quality. However, still holds up strong. It's got a similar quality to the Falcon Fission as far as I know. Don't worry, we're out of old model territory because this is the Falcon Fission Sport all-wheel drive, as you can see. Don't think it's bubble lights either, but unfortunately no high beams. But really quickly, let's take this thing for some of its startup. Ooh. No, let's actually check out the dealership stats of this thing real quick. You can see the pricing over there, that's the top speed. Honestly, also very unassuming. And we're gone right there. Here goes. About 5 seconds, yeah. Definitely not as sleeper as the previous cars, but definitely still not really that slow. Okay, maybe this isn't as much of a sleeper, but it does offer a better model than some of the other two options, and it's, definitely still a civilian car. So all the cars I've mentioned thus far aren't really SUVs, they're all just cars, but here's something that can carry 8 people, and also the dealership stats here. The base model only goes for around, what, $30-something thousand, and it has the exact same tune as all the others. Seats? That's 8 seats. That is a convoy vehicle. This is where it is at. And I've actually reviewed this car before, so let's rev it up. That's 3-point-something seconds 0 to 60. Honestly, quite impressive for a huge family SUV like this. Again, I have seen no one driving this thing, even after I posted that video. Also quite a good model. Yes, it doesn't have high beams, but if you look at the lights, it's pretty solid. It's almost got that new system type of feeling. This one right here is the Lincoln Co. 3, labeled Giga. Start it up. Honestly, pretty bog standard. Take a rev. It's got that supercharger whine. That is Wow. Okay, now we're actually going to take this for the proper speed test, so let's go from the bottom. I don't think this is launch control, but we're going to rev it up like it does anyway. We're off. Here goes, there we go. That's 60 miles an hour on the second highest trim of the Lincoln Co. 3. Now, conveniently, since we're at Senex intersection, might as well do the brakes. And now that is pretty good. I would give that honestly a 7 out of 10 if I had to give a raw score, but I'm not giving raw scores for this one. I'm just showing you how sleeperish this thing can be. And yes, this kind of almost does look like a race car, but of course you can always just spec it out again. Now for something a little different from what we had, I'm departing in this Rocket Amethyst right here. Looks slow off the start. Let's actually take it for a spin. Now, definitely not as fast as the other one, but if you look at the dealership price and the specs right now, this actually goes to, I believe, 155 and only costs 10K, or 9K to be specific. We're speeding down Greenville. Oops. Speeding down Greenville Drive right now. Let's see if we can hit the top speed in this. No, we can't. Oh, no! Standard 2000 sedan. Just look around, kind of vaguely feels like a Camry. Let's start it up. Okay. Our standard rev as well. This also offers new lights, such as, you know, the high beams and the fog lights, of course. Updated lighting, I think that would be a plus for anyone watching. Now, for some of the braking of this, let us here. It's definitely a little slower than the Lincoln Co., but still not that bad, honestly. Right before we go to the last car, I've got this one to show you. The 2021 Mizuku Hofu, going for $30,000. That shares the tune with the highest 3 trims, so let's start it up. Start up. Some pretty decent revs right there. I've actually, once again, I have to mention I've actually reviewed this car before, so let's hit the roads. Again, not as fast as a 0 to 60, but also same thing as the A-Sight. It's got a much better model. Also, you know, these updated-esque taillights. Wow. Yeah, no high beams on this car, but that's the way it goes. We're going to keep driving here. We're going to take it for maybe perhaps a little handling. Ooh, definitely a little more boaty. Definitely not as responsive, and there is less body roll, but very much understeering. Now let's take it for, so you know, some good old-fashioned braking right there. That is 7.5, that is 75% right there. That is very quick to stop. This is something I've not seen people driving around either, and again, good model, actually pretty decently well tuned. So I'm telling you, this is also another fine sleeper. But again, onto the final car, because and of course, saving the best for last, we have the Infiniti G35. Let's take it on for a proper 0 to 100 actually. Rev it up. We're at 60, now we're heading to 100, and once again, this is actually one of the cheaper options. If you look at the dealership stats, it goes to 150 something miles an hour for only about 10K. Now, I bought one of the higher trims of this car. The lower trim should have, in theory, the same tune, and yeah, the lower trim only goes for around 9,000, less than 10K once again, so these are all really cheap sleeper options that I'm giving you here. Meanwhile, we're at Senex, let's do some of the braking. That is very good. No, you do not understand how good this is. This is probably very supercar levels of braking. Now, that may be an overstatement, but I've seen sports cars that brake worse than this. But yeah, no, sport coupes. And before I forget to tell you, I'm pretty sure the Horizon's able to do donuts. It's not working. I am not good at donuts. What I'm trying to say is that this vehicle is really quite good fun if you know how to use it. But yeah, either way, let's take it for some of the lights and sounds in this thing, because this does in fact have updated lighting. You know, the high beams, the fog lights. And of course, US spec, because, you know, Wisconsin. But yeah, that is basically all the cars, all the 10 somewhat forgotten sleepers, I would say. So yeah, I've been the Heisenberger. These are some of the sleepers, and I'll see you later.